Welcome back to Truth at the Table. We're so glad that you've tuned in and that you've joined us tonight. So, tonight's episode is recap. Men's edition, women's edition. Everybody said it all. We left it all at the table. Now it's time to wrap it up and recap. But before we do that, we definitely want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Zaria Hair Salon, located in Hollywood, Florida. All the info is here. Check them out. Awesome place. You can follow them on IG, and you can also visit their website for more information and details. Okay, so let's introduce our cast.
Ethan Taylor.
Mar. Vanessa.
Zay.
Tashana.
And Dwayne.
All right. Okay, so let's get into it. The men said some things, and the women said some things. I want to go first. So
We're gonna dissect the women first, or
I think we should do the men first because they went first.
You sound hurt. You sound hurt. Sound like you really have something you want to get off your chest.
No, I'm not hurt. No.
Are we going to talk about the Ethan Taylor laughter?
It was said, even though one of our cast members is not here to necessarily defend what he said, but men, you might be able to relate. You guys were there. There was something that was said by, I'm gonna put him on blast, Jovi. Shout out to Jovi.
Got him.
yikes.
It was said that women are allergic to accountability. Allergic. Like we have an immuno response. Because that's what allergy means, by the way. It is a immuno response, okay, to an allergen. So we're allergic to accountability. Anyway.
It's not fair because he's not here to defend what he said.
Exactly.
I feel like all he can do is defend himself in the comments.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess it would be similar to like men being allergic to listening. So I don't know. So
Get him on the phone. Call him.
Somebody call Joe.
Phone a friend.
Phone a friend.
you guys can answer for him.
Yeah, I mean, what did you think he meant by? What was your take on it? Because you were there.
Zay, you go first.
What exactly did he say again?
Allergic to accountability. Yeah.
Allergic to accountability.
You might not even agree.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think
You're alone. It's cold out there.
I'm letting it, sink in, register. Like,
Yeah.
woman
Yeah.
allergic to accountability.
Alright. To be honest, I don't remember exactly what he meant.
Right.
Right? So I can't say I agree or disagree because sometimes, a lot of people say things and and it's not necessarily that, he says you're allergic to accountability. That might not be what he meant, in the whole sense of the word.
I like what you said. Get
So-
him on the phone.
So I think we
Did the definition of accountability change? Accountability is accountability.
They said they don't got nothing to do with
So,
this.
you don't have nothing to do with it. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think when you even made the comments, it was like, There was a lot of, Yeah, there was a lot of shake heads.
I'm not sure that's what he meant.
So,
I think he was trying to say that women a lot of times sit in the victim chair
Okay, interesting.
and don't understand that part and what issues might arise and how it's processed and how things became the way they are. Get him on the phone.
I mean, so all of you guys disagree with this comment? Why?
That we're allergic to accountability.
Why did you guys disagree
I
with the
think
comment?
it's- I think
Because
it's-
that would bring it out more to see exactly. Let's see what you guys think or assumed what he meant. So it's like, well, why did you guys disagree? Are you guys allergic to accountability?
I disagree because it's a
I know.
general statement, and I feel
Yeah.
like based on his experiences and whatever he's been through, and whatever women he's interacted with, and depending on their maturity level, cannot speak to the general woman. That's like saying men don't listen, where it depends on a man's
Type of man.
maturity level and the woman he's interested in, how much listening will be put forth.
Makes sense.
Is there a reason why I can't call right?
I'm sure he didn't mean it like maliciously.
No, we
Hey,
know.
so I'm here to truth the
Uh-oh.
table.
Season
And
4.
I'm here with truth the table, right?
Speakerphone.
I'm gonna put you on speakerphone. They got one question to ask you, and you're just gonna answer. Is that okay? All right, hold on a second. All right, here we go. Go ahead.
Okay, so we got Jovi on the line. Say hey, Jovi.
Hey, what's going on, yo? Okay.
Yeah. So we wanted to clarify something that was said during the men's episode, where you said, you know, women are allergic to accountability.
I stand by that.
What did you mean, though?
I mean, typically, for the most part, you know, like, women are less likely to admit to something they did wrong, or less likely to see what they did wrong. You know?
It's very vague. Very broad.
Okay.
I mean, in general, all women?
No, I mean, I wouldn't say, obviously, all never means all. You know, there's always different kind of people. But
Right.
yeah, for the most part, yeah, it's usually harder for women, in my experience, at least, and experience of my friends and people I know.
Okay.
Typically, you know, do we agree, disagree? What's going on?
No, we wanted to clarify because again, you weren't here, so we didn't want to assume what you meant. So we did a phone a friend, you know, just to clarify and get what you were saying. But I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So, like he said, his experiences with whoever has shaped his viewpoint. That's why, you know, sometimes gotta be careful not to pour that out generically or say majority. It can be toxic
So to his defense, is he right to a degree?
based on his experience.
So in
But
general,
when he says it
general-
broadly, it's not right.
So in general, would he be right to a degree?
Based on his experience, he is correct.
All right, so it's 3 women right here. Here we go. So in relation to what he said, do you oftentimes admit when you're wrong?
Of course, if he met me and had an experience with me, he'd know that that's not the case.
All right.
Okay.
Vanessa, when your husband say, "Babe, do you admit to it right off the top?"
Yeah, most of the time.
Okay.
Most of the time.
Most of the time. It just depends on what the circumstance is. There are times where I want to just be headstrong, and I can identify that. Like I know that about myself, and he knows that about me. And then ultimately, I'll be like, okay, yeah, I'm sorry.
I have a question for you. With your experience in helping your homegirls or counseling them, do you feel like they do that?
It varies.
It
Based
varies
on
on
their
the
background.
situation.
Their life, how they're raised.
Well, I have
Yeah.
a question for you. Do the majority of your friends have a
I can't say majority of my friends are mature enough and have gone through the healthy process of becoming the women they need to be to know when to take accountability and how.
She chooses her words very carefully.
Is that what it's called?
Very carefully.
That's
I
called-
think this
that's called
question
wisdom.
has a lot to do with experience, to be very honest.
I agree with you, Dwayne.
It has a lot to
I
do
am
with experience.
I'm going to agree with you on that because it's going to be based on your experience.
Yeah.
Like Joey just said, based on his experience and
But,
who he
yeah.
knows or whatever. So it's kind of to say, well, that's his opinion. Does that surmise the entire
No.
culture or the woman, female? No, it doesn't. But again, it goes on experience, maturity. Do we act the same way how we used to act when we were 15 and 16 and 18 and whatever? No, we don't. We surely don't. So now, you can, back in the day, you can say, well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of times, women always say, women are right. This is a saying, right? Women are right. And especially if the women feel like they are right, they will be headstrong about it. If they are truly passionate about the decision that they, or whatever the situation is, they're going to be like, yeah, until the man really breaks out what his point of view is. And even at that point, it comes to a mature point where the woman has to say, you know what, I see your point, but here's my point.
That's
And
true.
again, it's experience and maturity.
Yeah,
I have a
agreed.
question for you. You're a young lady, she dates 10 guys, and all 10 guys got a problem. I'm not sure.
You talking about J-Lo?
No. After a while, do you look in the mirror and say, "Am I just picking wrong people? Am I the problem?"
No, if you have to do some type of self-evaluation eventually, because something is wrong.
But I mean, we talked about that on the women's episode. We talked about self-evaluation and how difficult that can be.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone has the ability to self-evaluate, to kind of do a self-check. It's harder than it sounds.
It becomes some people or some females, they don't want to do it because, especially if they're in a vain state, if they feel like they're all that, a bag of chips and a cup of coffee, and they feel like, why not love me? I'm this, whatever. They're looking on a physical, but they fail to understand that, you know, attraction is more than a physical, because a man will see physical first, but when that man sit down and realize and have that conversation, like, she is dumb as a doorknob.
Pretty dunce.
Pretty done. You understand what I'm saying? So until that next step goes beyond just the physical, they're not gonna know. But to her, that female's like, what is not to love? I look like this, you know? But you can probably have some type of mental issue and other things. You know, like I said, you said in your episode that, you know, if they have a 350 credit score, it's a deal breaker. It's a chip, 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 chip. Would you say that if all the females that you have dealt with, 10 of them, and they don't have a good credit score, are you picking wrong?
South Florida women have bad credit.
Wow. So wait, is that a general statement?
Right.
Or is it based off of a woman that you have experienced?
That was a joke.
Wow. Let's rewind.
That was a joke, by the way.
My wife has awesome credit.
So you guys better raise that credit score.
That was a joke. No, I'll give you an example. You guys talked about it too when you talk about marriage. One of the stresses that marriage takes the stress on marriage is finances.
Mm-hmm.
And financially, anything would be stressful on me. I mean, I work in finance. I just don't believe in, you know.
So, because
issues.
what you had said initially was that if their credit score, that means that they were very poor in their
That's what I
finances.
said.
Isn't
Rewind the
it?
tape.
I think you said irresponsible.
Yeah, irresponsible, or it shows a lack of maturity.
And there is a case by case basis for that. I know some women. I've told you they got divorced,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't know that such stuff in marriage mess your credit like that too. You're not just
if you're
like one lady I know. She was real cool, but she says I just want to know I got $20,000 worth of tax debt that my husband had. They made us split it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in divorces, especially in the state of Florida, everything is 50-50. All assets, all debts,
Yeah.
all finances, anything that you have, whether it be debt or assets, is split 50-50.
Yeah,
better
so
work
they
it
had-
I
out.
like that. Yeah, it's cheaper to keep her.
Cheaper to keep her.
Work it out.
Well, I don't know in her case. They had $40,000 for the tax debt. Now she's down to 20.
I
But,
mean,
you know,
together they
I
can
mean,
pay that.
so when I say that there are special cases, I'm
Yeah,
not saying it's a deal. I have certain things that deal breaker, like if you sick.
Wait, what? Wait, what? Like, please expose. I'm
We
so.
talked about the feet.
Minute appetite.
Excuse.
Hey, if you I will.
So.
Signature.
We all have had our road to salvation. And some people have some remnants.
You mean if you have like a
Wait.
permanent transmitted disease like AIDS or something?
What about sickle cell?
I mean,
What about sickle cell?
I can understand
You
that.
transmit sickle cell. I think you get transmit sickle cell.
Yes, it is. It's hereditary.
To your
Ow,
children.
it doesn't.
And scoliosis.
To your children.
Sir.
can't transmit it to
but
But you transmit it to your kids.
No, but those things are like hereditary through having children. But he's talking about stuff that probably you were
Like,
promiscuous.
I mean,
and
AIDS
like
is really the only one that, or maybe HPV.
I meet this lovely young lady, and she tells me,
No,
"Yeah,
it's
God,
not here.
this lovely young lady," and she tells me, "Yeah, I'm saying that stuff. I have herpes."
STDs are a deal breaker.
Please,
Guys are a deal breaker. That's something
what I meant to say is that credit score can be fixed.
Look, a credit scores can be fixed. However, STIs and STDs cannot be fixed. But that's no deal breaker. We see where you at.
Antibiotics, man.
don't blame you, sir.
No,
Ethan. I'm sorry.
Listen, nowadays when you're,
I don't blame you.
I'm not sure if you had to do this when you're young and stuff, but sometimes, especially if someone tells a story too much, you might want to say before we get serious, can we go get tested?
That's very important to the
Yeah.
Very
So
important.
that was a-
stuff you would never
That
have
was
to
a
be required back
requirement.
in the
That
day.
was a requirement back in the day before you got married. You had to do
Present.
a blood work.
Wow.
Yeah, before you get married. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if you both are virgins, then excellent.
Still do it anyway.
You know, I'm just saying. Then the chance.
Someone might be lying.
You never know.
Well, bruh,
Just do it.
if you're about to marry that person and they're lying at this point, I
That's
don't
why
know.
it's good to do it,
That's
because
a
then you'll know.
Just eat the food and go.
I mean, that's a very interesting and very non-trusting way to think. I
But think
mean,
about someone's done everything perfect, and then you get to that point, and then you find out.
but I think okay, so this was not discussed on the men and women's episode. This was discussed previously before when we were talking about deal breakers, courting and dating versus dating. And that's why I was saying certain conversations need to be had early. You do not need to get entangled, become in an entanglement where now we are at a certain point in this relationship where things are getting serious and we've never discussed STDs. We've never discussed previous partners. We've never discussed all these thoughts, credits, this and this and this and that.
LGBTQRXZ.
And now we're about to get married and you're bringing it up now, and now it's a deal breaker. So all your emotions are involved, all this, it's unnecessary. It's not smart. It's just not efficient. It's not the efficient way
Just
to
like
do
some
things.
women, they'll go all the way and, hear the man, say how much he would like to have a family, want a family. They know they can't have children. And they don't say anything, and until they are now married and she cannot have children or for whatever reason, and she's like, well, maybe that's something we can adopt and be together, and he's like, you took away
My
choice.
choice.
Let him choose if he still wants to be with you despite the fact. Let him choose, say, I want to fight, try, do whatever despite the fact. But to just take away someone's choice, whether you're male or female, is a very dangerous thing to do. So it's better to just be upfront and honest. I'm not saying first date, I can't have kids. Right? But at some point that needs to come up, especially when you realize things are getting serious, or it's reaching that point where you see the person's feelings have gotten stronger, and it's getting to that point.
Do you think that's manipulative if she does something like that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
1,000,000%.
5,000%.
Absolutely.
Not necessarily.
Low-key disgusting.
Okay.
Then you
why?
had lack transparency.
Because sometimes people meet people and they really fall in love with them, and she wish she could have kids, and she really don't want to.
We can't build a future on your hopes, and
No, but the thing about it,
Hold on, this
It's like a fail.
people meet people, and they really, man, I love this person. I totally agree with that, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much you love someone. It doesn't matter how much you fall in love with someone. It's like you have to find that point where I gotta be honest. But people do meet people, and they fall in love with them, and they're amazing together. And it's like, dang, I really don't want to tell her. And I really don't want to tell her because.
So you're saying out of fear, basically.
out of fear.
She's
Yeah.
not gonna
but
say
out
it
of fear, she
because-
manipulates
I
the
have some
situation.
Oh, she's not trying to manipulate.
Think about
It's
this.
still manipulation, though.
If you're at the point of marriage, you ask 1,000, a million questions before you get married. Most men are going to answer, can you have babies? No, we're not going to ask that, but we are going to talk about children.
Right.
Do you want children? Yes, I
Yeah.
do. At that point, she has to say
Right.
something.
That's
If
what
she
I'm
don't, it's deception.
It is
Correct.
deception, and
It's
it's
deception.
manipulative.
I want babies. At that point, you have to tell them
Because-
if you want babies and you don't
I
want
would
to be
love
there.
to have
We're gonna
children,
talk about how many
but,
kids do you want? How many kids do you imagine? 5, but this
Yeah,
is
my
my
situation,
situation.
And if we- and
Or
if-
even if she says, I feel or think that this might be a problem based
Yeah,
on
based on
PCOS
this and this
or
and
whatever
this,
the
or
case
whatever.
may be, and you
Exactly.
just go and get that checked out.
And the man, might
might
be
say,
like,
let's
I'm
explore
gonna
our options.
stay
Right.
because
Yeah.
there isn't anything God isn't able to do. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
Say it again. Say it
Because
again.
I
say it
can
again.
pray, and I can pray for your
lay
womb,
hands on
baby
them
girl.
women.
I can
Lay
lay my
hands.
hands on your body,
Hey,
and
hey.
even when we make love, when we get married, you will produce a child.
Yes, it happens.
Hallelujah. I know a couple that happened to.
I'm sure it happens. It happens.
So it's just a matter of choice.
No, it's true. It's true.
It's just a
though.
matter of choice.
Yes, allow them.
Don't
to
take
have
away my
that
choice, please.
Yeah, agreed.
People
If
really
God gives me
follow
choice,
me.
why you want to take it away? You're right.
And let me
Well,
help you
it's
out.
about
Let me
that.
help you out that. If you did keep that secret, keep it a secret. Don't tell Matt John, man. Just let it go. Act like you didn't know. That's
Go
what
to
now
the doctor to get
now
I can't have kids. Oh my God! So I pull up your rash and
Hey.
like, we were just.
Hey, and
We're
that was
just together.
the doctor said I told you that 3 years ago.
No, I thought you said 3 years ago. I should consider. I didn't know this was a fact, babe.
Then you had to
Let's
answer-
bring it,
Oh, yeah, really bad.
let's bring it back in. Another point that the men made, which I was really glad they made, was about the time frame of men. I think it was Eddie or maybe Dwayne, but they said if a man is with a woman for an extended amount of
I
time,
said that.
and there's no moves, there's no talks, there's no, towards something,
I
bruh,
remember this.
he is playing you. He is playing you. He's
I
not
had a rebuttal
serious.
for this.
Hold on,
Oh,
because men
It wasn't me that said it.
men don't give mixed signals if they're really interested. If they're interested, you're gonna know. You will not be confused about this man's interest or his level of seriousness.
True.
True.
It depends.
I agree based on my experience.
Oh man.
I mean,